Hello, this is Jen Kitzmiller with the National Weather Service in Missoula, and I have your fire weather planning briefing recorded on Thursday, August 17th. So just to get right into it, we are expecting a period of critical fire weather conditions that's going to start basically this afternoon, Thursday afternoon, and continue all the way through Friday night. That's going to be due to a breakdown of an upper level ridge of high pressure. Looking beyond this critical fire weather period, we will see temperatures cool slightly back down closer to where we should be for this time of year, and some slightly higher reaches getting into this weekend into early next week. However, we'll also see the threat of thunderstorms increase. And then looking out towards early next week in the Sunday through Tuesday timeframe, there is potential for an influx of tropical moisture, which could bring increased precipitation amounts to the region. I'll get more into that here shortly. Here's the weather threat matrix. Again, we're really highlighting the Thursday afternoon through Friday night time frame as seen here on the matrix with the red. As we get into Saturday, we'll see that cool down, and the main threat just being Saturday into early next week, potential for thunderstorms. Other than there is potential to see a wind shift in northwest and west central Montana on Saturday. So looking at the big picture, here is the upper level satellite imagery. We still have a pretty strong ridge of high pressure anchored over us here in north central Idaho and western Montana. There are some beginnings of a trough up in northern British Columbia that's going to be moving this way and helping to break down that ridge, leading to those critical fire weather conditions we're expecting. One other feature I want to draw your attention to is Hurricane Hilary in the southern tropical Pacific. This feature is also going to interact with the weather pattern change coming up and maybe bring that moisture into the region that I mentioned earlier. And then finally, getting a little closer to home, this is the current satellite imagery over us here in western Montana and north central Idaho. And I do want to mainly just draw your attention to all the smoke that has infiltrated the region, especially up across northwest Montana. This smoke will likely linger through the day and may keep some of the valleys socked in, may keep temperatures in the valleys from reaching as high as the current forecast. However, especially in the higher terrain where we have some of our ongoing fires, those areas are not expected to see as much of an impact from the smoke. So just talking about the pattern, this is an image showing the current weather pattern over us here in western Montana and north central Idaho. You'll see that strong ridge of high pressure in place for today. That's going to make today the last in the string of exceptionally hot days, because as we get into tomorrow, you'll see the pattern shift and we have this trough of low pressure starting to dig in out of Canada that I showed you on satellite imagery. This is a classic breakdown of the upper level ridge pattern, which often can lead to critical fire weather conditions due to the combination of dry and windy conditions in the atmosphere. So looking at some of the details there, just for today, which is Thursday, hot and dry conditions will continue. We are expecting to see increasing winds, especially on those ridges and upper elevations that are more exposed. One thing that we want to emphasize going into tonight is that it's not a typical night where we think the fire weather burning period is really going to shut down, because on those mid-slopes and ridges, we're only going to see the winds continue to increase. It will remain dry and breezy with poor RH recoveries on those mid-slopes and ridges. So fires could remain fairly active going into the overnight hours. As we get into tomorrow, when that ridge of high pressure breaks down and we have that weak cold front come through, we will see temperatures drop a bit, but we've got very dry air coming in behind that front. And so even with the dropping temperatures, RHs are going to be very dry and winds are actually going to be increasing a notch. This image I have here is showing the wind gust potential for tomorrow, Friday afternoon, across the region, and you'll see most areas we're looking at gusts anywhere from 30 up to 45 miles per hour, with a special emphasis across northwest Montana and portions of the Clearwater Nez Perce near the Palouse. Those areas kind of seem to stand out for the combination of where we'll have those winds along with the driest conditions coming in behind that front. Across southwest Montana, we do have the wind in place, but we're actually going to see some increasing moisture. It's not looking quite as dry in those areas as further north, and in fact, we may even be dealing with some thunderstorms, which I'll get to next. But basically the highlight here, this is critical fire weather period. We do have red flag warnings in effect for a part of the area, so we recommend you check that out if you have any interest. Now, I did mention the chance to see some lightning and thunderstorms. This is the probability of lightning for today, so later this afternoon and especially this evening. It looks pretty isolated for today, mainly across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest. And some of those probabilities are going to continue over the Beaverhead Deer Lodge into the overnight hours tonight, about a 5 to 10% chance. So it's not overly likely that you'll see that lightning continue. However, the low levels of the atmosphere are so dry that any thunderstorms that do develop will be capable of some gusty and erratic outflow winds. And then as we get into tomorrow, Friday, this is where the chance of lightning really starts to increase. Generally, I would say from Stevensville and the Bitterroot National Forest south, with a special focus across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest. After we get past this critical period, we do have a backdoor cold front that's going to be coming out of Canada. By this point, we'll be cooler already. Humidities will have come up a bit, but I wanted to point this out because we are expecting to see a wind shift to more of a north to northeasterly wind. This would occur on Saturday, with the main focus for that wind shift across northwest Montana and near the Continental Divide across west central Montana. Now, I showed you on satellite that the Hurricane Hilary, and as we get towards the end of this weekend into early next week, there's potential that some of this moisture from this hurricane could actually move up from the south and potentially right over us here in north central Idaho and western Montana. Now, there's still a lot of differences in how our models are handling this moisture, so there's a range of possibilities of what could occur. I have here on the left side of the screen the low end probability, and in that case you'll see it's mainly just hitting southwest Montana and Lemhi County into southern Idaho County, with 1/10 to maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain. The kind of middle of the road forecast is represented here in the middle, which is showing anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of precipitation. And then kind of the high end range of precip amounts, this would be more of a direct hit from that moisture. And you can see there's potential for upwards of 1 inch or more, particularly in north central Idaho. So I know this is quite a range, but I will say over the days, the overall trend has been towards higher chances of at least seeing wetting rains, if not significantly more, if that moisture hits us dead on. So just to kind of reinforce the trend, here's the temperatures expected over the next 7 days. Again, today, Thursday, is really standing out as the hottest day, and you'll see over time going into this weekend and early next week, those temperatures really start to trend down. And a similar trend in the minimum relative humidities, with today, Thursday, likely being the driest day, and then you'll see those RHs really come up, especially towards Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. So that's all I have for today. If you have any questions or concerns or need any other questions answered before our next briefing, which is going to be on Sunday, August 20th, please feel free to give us a call.